We're only 2 days or 48 hours away from what's quite possibly the biggest Apple event in years, WWDC 2023. But we got some last minute details that are pretty big, so let's talk about them. First, new info about iOS 17. Mark Gurman recently gave some new info about what to expect with iOS 17. Most notably is a new lock screen interface that will turn your iPhone into a smart display. If this sounds familiar to you, it's because Google just introduced this a few weeks ago with the announcement of the Pixel tablet and the charging speaker dock.
So we engineered a first of its kind charging speaker dock. Woo!
But this is a feature that I hoped Apple will copy, and it looks like they will. When you set your MagSafe compatible iPhone on a charging stand horizontally, it will turn into a smart display. In addition, Mark says Apple will introduce updates to Wallet, Find My, AirPlay, and SharePlay. We already know the Wallet updates with the app being redesigned, and AirPlay will be easier to connect to TVs in things like hotels or venues. We don't know much about the updates to SharePlay or Find My, however. If you want to know more about iOS 17, watch the last WWDC video I made. Next, Mac hardware. It's been rumored heavily that we'll see a new 15-inch MacBook Air announced at WWDC, but we got some info of even more Macs coming here. Mark Gurman says that Apple will start accepting trade-ins for the 13-inch MacBook Pro with M2, 13-inch MacBook Air with M2, and Mac Studio starting on June 5th, the day of WWDC. Why else would they be doing this other than we're getting new Macs here? But while the MacBooks make sense because we're getting a new 15-inch MacBook Air here, what's even more interesting is that the Mac Studio is being accepted for trade-ins on June 5th too. Mark recently said that we'll see several new Macs at WWDC, not just the 15-inch MacBook Air. And he recently put out a report saying that there are new Macs with the model IDs of Mac 14,13 and Mac 14,14, which are both powered by M2 Ultra and M2 Max, which is perfectly in line with the current Mac Studios M1 Ultra and M1 Max. And Mark also said Apple's preparing to launch a new Mac with the codename of J475. The current Mac Studio is J375. And to add on top of that, every model of the Mac Studio apart from the base model is seeing shipping delays. All of this lined up, there's too much smoke for there not to be a fire. It's looking very likely that we'll see a new Mac Studio with M2 Max and M2 Ultra at WWDC. On the topic of Mac and Mac Studio, let's talk macOS 14. We've heard little to none about macOS 14, but we've seen a Mac running it. That's right, a Geekbench results spotted by everyone's favorite seafood, Shrimp Apple Pro, shows a M1 Ultra Mac Studio running macOS 14.0 with a build number of 23A231. So while we haven't seen the actual software, we've seen that it's being tested. Speaking of software being tested, as I was researching for this video script, I found Geekbench results of iPhone 14 Pros running iOS 17.0, but nothing really else special there. And last, updates on the Reality Pro. We got word from Ross Young saying that displays on Reality Pro will be 1.41 inches each, and there'll be two of them. They're both micro OLED panels, and they have the highest pixel density of any Apple product at over 4,000 pixels per inch, nearly 9 times the pixel density of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And it'll have the highest brightness of any Apple product at over 5,000 nits. That's 2.5 times the brightness of the iPhone 14 Pro Max outdoors. The reason for this high brightness is because of the pancake lens design. The pancake lens design will make the device a whole lot slimmer and lighter, but it will make it way more expensive, and it will reduce the brightness of the displays, so that over 5,000 nits of brightness will help compensate for the pancake lens design. Now, we've heard that gaming is going to play a big role in the Reality Pro headset, and it looks like one of the most popular VR games might be coming on the Reality Pro. The co-founder of Beat Saber tweeted June 5th is going to be with popcorn emojis and a sunglasses emoji. This could be hinting at Beat Saber potentially coming to Reality Pro and XROS, but that's just speculation. Speaking of games on the headset, the developers of No Man's Sky just released a game for the Mac, and along with that, they said the following in the tweet: "We've got a little something just about to drop, and then another surprise in the very near future. No Man's Sky is available on other VR platforms like the PSVR 2, so potentially we could see this VR version come to Reality Pro as well." So WWDC 2023 is looking very, very exciting. New Macs, all of Apple's new software, and Reality Pro. Mark Gurman says that this event will be one of Apple's longest events ever, easily exceeding 2 hours, which means that this event will be very packed, and I'm very ready for it.